This is video number 2 in the series of making these cups. The first video, we imported the files and checked to make sure they'd be able to print. In this video, we're going to look at adding a label to the top window here. So we're going to make that part clear, and then we're going to add that label to just one side of it. So going back to KeyShot, I'm going to hide the parts I'm not working with, and actually to better work with my tree, I'm going to quickly rename each of these. So if I click on one, then I can go down here and name it. Great. Now if my part's named, I can double click on this, or I can double click on the part, and that'll bring me into materials. First, I need this to be clear. So I'm going to change my material type from diffuse to glass solid. The solid is good because it has transparency distance, and that's going to come in handy for semi-transparent materials in the future. So generally, glass solid, great material to use. For the color, I'm going to change that using the CMYK picker. I'm going to change that to 0000. Sometimes the default for glass solid is like 26% black, which looks clear on screen, but really there's a little tint to it. So make sure that that is all the way down at 0. Then we're going to add a label to the top. So we're going to go to labels, and I'm going to find my label. I'm just going to drag that image file into this box that has all the labels on it. Perfect. We're pretty close. It aligned it nicely there. We can move this texture. If you don't see this gimbal, you can click on move, and that will show that those tools. Down here we have a translate. You can check that, so then it'll be able to translate the label around. What I'd like to do is look at it from the angle I want that label applied. So in camera, I can look at it for an orthographic view, which is nice so it doesn't distort the part. And then standard view is I'll look at the top of the part. Great. This is the orientation I want my label in. Right now it's kind of crooked. I'm going to start by just dragging it around and get it close. And then I'll go over here and change the numbers to get it exact. So I know I want my label about like that. Then down here I can expand the angle, and I rotated it to 83.4 degrees. I don't want that. I want a nice square number. And a couple of these are also close to square, but not quite. Here, this 95, let's change that to -90. Nice. Now it's perfectly square. And then center X is left to right. By default, my part was centered when I brought it in, so I can just change that to 0, and then it'll center it there. And then center Y as well. I can change that to 0, and then, Y is vertical, so that part doesn't actually matter. Center Z is into and out of the screen when you're looking at the front, so that modified it in this direction. And then using my left mouse button, I can actually angle it over here and see that here's my label. It's being projected through the part. Now, if I look at the bottom, I can see the label's actually on the top and the bottom of the cup. If I go to lighting, uncheck self shadows, then I can see the labels on top bottom. I only want it on the top. So if I go to material, I can uncheck two-sided. And now it's only on one side. Then I can click the check mark here, and I'm done positioning that label. And that is how you can apply graphics onto clear parts in KeyShot for print.